Regular meeting, August 11, 2026. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for invocation. Again.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we ask you for your guidance and wisdom as we gather to serve our community. Give our council members open hearts, thoughtful minds, and the courage to make decisions with fairness, integrity, and compassion. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call.
Councilmember Pimentel.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball.
Here.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Here.
Councilmember Harden. Here. Mayor Graham.
Here. Any declarations of conflicts of interest tonight? All right, seeing none. Ceremonial matters, none. Closed session, direction was given. Items from the public, non-agenda items. Anybody from the public wishing to come up and speak? Yes, sir. Go up to the podium up there, state your name, your address, and then.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Gil Roadlander. I live at 1214 Duckblind. My family has been homeowners in Newman since the late 1950s. Roadlanders have served in every American war from the Civil War to Iraq. There's even a Roadlander headstone at the American Cemetery in Normandy. This is my first time coming before you, and I'm here just for one request: to place the flock license plate reader cameras on a future agenda as its own discussion item. I'm not asking you to decide anything tonight because you can't under the Brown Act, but that's exactly the problem. In 3.5 years, this program has never had its own agenda item. It entered as 2 line items in the February 2023 mid-year budget and has been renewed ever since through the consent calendar. Tonight, on item 8B, you're approving check 128,553 for $26,500 to Flock Group Incorporated. By the city's own accounting, that brings the total over to $102,000, all without a single dedicated public discussion. These cameras raise questions that deserve public answers. How many do we have? A volunteer group counts 7. Residents like myself shouldn't have to find out like that from volunteers. How long is the data on every driver kept? Who outside of our police department can search it? Has it ever been audited? Flock gives every department a free public transparency page that answers just these questions. Gilroy, Richmond, El Cajon have turned theirs on, but we haven't, and I just checked today. The stakes are real. Flock faces a class action in San Francisco for letting out-of-state and federal agencies search the San Francisco plate data more than 1.6 million times in 7 months. Does Newman's contract allow for the same access? We don't know, and that's the problem. Maybe Newman looks closely and watches it with better guardrails, but maybe not. That decision belongs in this room, in public, and on the agenda. At your last meeting, another resident asked us to reconsider these cameras. Tonight, I'm asking for the step that makes that reconsidering possible. Will the council direct staff to agendize a full review of the Flock program, the contract, the costs, the data retention, and the data sharing policies? Thank you for your time, and thank you for our service to our great city.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else looking to speak? Hello, welcome.
Hello, my name is Abby Pendleton. I'm here on behalf of State Assembly Member 1 Alanis. I just want to give a quick bill update since the legislature just went back into session last week. So these are some bills that passed committee that will be considered in the Senate. So AB 1572, this bill would require youth sports officials to undergo yearly background checks and certifications before being cleared to officiate games. AB 1612, this would authorize local law enforcement agencies to hand over dangerous illegal drugs to the California DOJ, and then the DOJ from there can contract with a third party to safely dispose of those drugs. And then also AB 2282, this would temporarily allow a general acute hospital to provide 24/7 off-site services to the Del Puerto Healthcare District while long-term facilities are being developed in the region. So those are a few bills that will be considered in the following weeks. And if there's any residents in Newman who need help with a state agency like Employment Development Department, DMV, Franchise Tax Board, our office is always available to assist with those matters. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Anybody else looking to speak tonight?
Hi, good afternoon, Council. My name is Julia Valdez. I live at 1517 Lock Brea Place. Just wanted to see if you could please consider the appeal of Planning Commission decision to deny variance number 26-01. We did get that letter in the mail, so we wanted to show our support and favor to our neighbor, Brian, that lives on 1511 Armish Court. I'm sorry, I'm short. Sorry. So please, if you could do that, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? All right, thank you. All right, for item 8, consent calendars, we're going to be pulling item D, authorize the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Newman Crows Landing Unified School District for a resource officer. Due to the school district's late notice regarding the school resource officer contract and the need for continued consultation with the Newman Officers Association consistent with the city's meet and confer obligations, staff recommends the city council pull this item for consideration at this time. So we're still working. We're working out agreement to get a school officer there, but we have to clear it through the police union first, and so there's going to be a short delay on that. With that, we'll continue with the consent calendar. Item A, waive all readings of ordinance and resolution except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the July 28, 2026 meetings. E, adopt resolution 2026 next number, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase and sale agreement with George and Marlene Souza for the sale of city property owned located at 648 Mariposa Street, Stanislaus County, APNS 026-026-017 and 026-026-18. Bring it back to council for action.
Move that we adopt consent calendar.
Second.
First and second, go and vote electronically. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 9, adopt resolution 2026, next number, resolution upholding the planning commission to deny variance number 2026-01.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. For you today is an appeal of the Planning Commission's decision to deny variance 26-01. Variance 26-01 requested a 16-foot, 4-inch tall carport to be approved, where the code states a maximum height of 12 feet. On April 8th, 2026, during a routine citywide inspection, code enforcement documented a potential zoning code violation involving the structure at 1511 Armish Court, noted on here. It's on the corner of Merced or a court at the corner of Merced and Brookhaven Drive. The matter was routed over to the planning department for review, and a letter was sent on April 13th, 2026, notifying the property owners who came in on April 29th to speak with the building department on the next steps. Applicant Brian Serpa submitted a set of plans, site plan, and building plans of what the structure was. It's located in the rear part of the property. Currently, it is around 39 inches from the property line, side property line, and about 13 feet from the house, 32 feet from the back property, and 16 feet from the other side rear property line. Stands at the highest height, it's 16 feet 4 inches. Due to the size of the structure and the setbacks, the applicant was informed a building permit would likely not be issued due to the height of the structure mainly, but also of the setbacks. He was informed of the variance process, and on May 11, 2026, a variance application was to allow the accessory structure as built was received. On June 18, 2026, the Planning Commission voted 3-2 to deny the variance application based upon their inability to meet the findings required by the Newman Municipal Code sections 5.25.03b and I. Staff informed the applicant of his right to appeal to the City Council, and a formal application appealing the Planning Commission decision to deny the variance was received on June 30th. In a letter to the Planning Commission, the applicant described his reasoning that necessitated the construction of the structure. He stated that the proposed structure its height is necessary to accommodate the storage of his approximately 13-foot tall recreation vehicle, shown here. The additional height would provide sufficient clearance to maneuver the vehicle into and out of the structure while allowing for its enclosed storage and protection. The Municipal City Code limits the Planning Commission's ability to consider the extenuating circumstances when reviewing variance applications. In their decision, the Planning Commission reviewed and agreed that the proposed variance does not meet the required 5 findings, such as variance does not form a grant of special privilege. The variance will not be detrimental to the public health, and safety, and general welfare. The variance will not substantially impair the purpose of this title or the general plan. The subject property has special circumstances or conditions whereby the strict application of the zoning ordinance standards would deprive the property of privileges enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district. So in case like the property is shaped a little bit strangely or in a tight corner, and the variance will not be compatible with the neighborhood. So the Planning Commission was unable to find, the variance did not meet any of those 5 findings. The City Council, as the legislative body, does have the authority to exercise its discretion, provided that there are findings that are consistent with the provisions of the Municipal City Code and applicable state law when considering appeals. In evaluating the staff, this variance appeal, city staff did also review the city's current accessory structure height standards to determine whether the existing development regulations remain consistent with those of comparable jurisdictions. So we just reviewed the cities within the county and a little bit outside of the county as well. As part of this evaluation, staff conducted a survey, and the survey found that City of Newman maintains one of the more restrictive maximum height limits for accessory structures at 12 feet. A lot of the surrounding cities have it at about 15 feet for a maximum in comparison. The review also found that several jurisdictions also employ like a tiered approach to regulating structure of the height by allowing structures to exceed a base height threshold, so such as 12 feet, when accompanied by an increased setback requirement. So for one city, for every additional foot, you needed to move the setback increase to an additional foot or foot and a half. This approach provides greater design flexibility while maintaining compatibility with the adjacent properties. So in conclusion, the Planning Commission found that they could not make any of the necessary findings required for the approval. The applicant has appealed this matter and requests that the council grant the variance based upon his desire to protect his recreational vehicle, its minimal impact on neighboring properties, and the lack of opposition from surrounding neighborhood. Given the carport's non-compliance with the code, staff recommends that the City Council adopt Resolution Number 26 next in number, upholding the Planning Commission's decision to deny Variance 26-01. Alternatively, should the City Council conclude that the current accessory structure development standards warrant further evaluation, staff recommends continuing the appeal and directing staff to prepare a proposed ordinance amendment for council consideration that evaluates potential revisions to the maximum height. I'm happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is also here if anyone has any questions.
Any questions before I open up to the public? No? Thank you. I'll open up to the public for any comments. No? You can go.
Did have a question.
You can if you want.
Good afternoon again, Council. I wasn't really sure what the proper procedure was. I'm so sorry. So we're one of the neighbors. Again, for record, Julia R. Valdez. I live at 1517 La Brea Place. We did sign a petition in favor of our neighbor, Brian. In support, we're here to support him. We kindly ask if the council consider the appeal of the Planning Commission's decision to deny variance number 2601. We definitely did go by. We don't see any problem with it as being a resident in the area, affected zone. And we definitely wanted to come and show support to our neighbor. Please, thank you.
Anyone else? No? Bring it back to council. Anybody have any?
I do have a question. I'm sorry, I did have a question. So I did notice that there were some addresses that were listed from, that there were, let me go back. There were some of them that have equal, well, Mr. Serpa had put the letter that stating a few addresses there that have similar setbacks or they're equal. So those properties went through the process and they,
Unfortunately not. A lot of these properties have code violations, existing code violations that.
yeah, and I know
either
that you can't go
ongoing, yeah.
specific in some of them, I
Yes.
understand that, but I was just wondering if they
No.
went through the same,
To
okay.
my knowledge, none of them have gone through this process.
Okay. And
If I could ask, you have the ability to move that 6 feet away from your fence line if you needed to and keep it 6 feet away from your main dwelling? I think from what I read here, it's
Yeah, the side setback requirement is 5 feet.
5 feet.
Yeah, I can do that. I would need time to do some more concrete to be able to move it over, but that is not a problem. I have plenty of room.
Yeah, the applicant has spoken to us about that. Moving it to meet the setback has not been a problem. It's the height that had been the major problem.
So probably the best avenue of approach on this is probably to, at this time, deny the appeal, but to give direction to city staff and the planning commission to go back and review our regulations and to see if we need to make adjustments to those so that he does fall into the guidelines properly and reevaluate our current guidelines completely. And then that can give you time to make changes and work on it and see where we're at with that.
Sir, can you come?
Yeah, yeah.
So just so people at home can hear, because we are live streaming.
So with what you were saying, to spend the money to do the concrete, to be able to move it over, to not know if it's gonna still come back and pass, that would be a very big hardship on me to spend that extra money to move it and then come back in a few months and hear, oh, it's still not,
I
it's still
understand.
not gonna pass.
I think maybe with this, it could put your property on freeze until they review the standards.
Here's what I would suggest that would happen if the council denies his appeal, but directs the city planning commission
Correct.
to review this matter and bring something back before the council. We put a pause on his application until the planning commission makes a decision. And then so we would just kind of, again, put a pause on his code enforcement action. And then once the planning commission made a decision and ultimately the council makes a decision, then we would work with the property owner to see if he could meet the new regulations.
Yeah, then at that point, you'd have time to come into compliance.
Okay.
Depending on if the regulations changed or not.
Okay.
And, or stay it, instead of denying it, to stay it?
Yeah, I would uphold the planning commission's decision to deny the application.
Yeah, and if we could go through the process again, if necessary, if the guidelines don't meet it at that time.
So that'd be another payment to the city hall.
You wouldn't know this,
It'd be just
there's no
continuation
additional
of the
cost. There's
same.
no additional cost to you at this
Okay.
time. Basically, what we would do is just put your code enforcement, if they take that action, we'll put your code enforcement action on pause until we work through this process. We'll keep you involved as part of the planning commission. So when it does come before the planning commission and you're hearing the new regulations, you can speak to it.
Okay.
As well as the rest of the public, because it'll be a public meeting a public hearing, and we'll definitely notify the community that it's available. And then you can come and say whether you like it or
I'd get a
not.
letter sent back in to my address saying that the city council meeting will be,
Correct.
Okay.
We'll start with planning commission, then ultimately to the city council.
okay.
I have one additional question.
But we
Looking
have
at
to, they have to take a formal action before we do anything.
looking at the picture I see here, there is some clearance. Is the structure, I know it's prefab, but is there an ability to shorten the height at any point, or is it?
So my
is that the
RV
way it
is 13 feet 6 inches. The gable span to the walls is 14 feet. I have 6 inches that I clear under my ACs of my RV.
Okay.
So realistically, I mean, yeah, I could to shrink it 4 inches at a price of, I don't even know what it would cost to have done. It's,
I just want to make that clear. So
Yeah.
the 16 foot 4 inches is to the peak and not to the sides.
no, it's 14 feet to the sidewall.
Okay, makes sense.
And then I have, you have the support from your one neighbor. How do the other neighbors feel?
Well, I had a
Because-
petition signed,
Okay,
went around the
that's-
neighborhood, and
Okay.
all my, I mean, I had neighbors send in letters to City Hall. I had no neighbor complain.
That's good.
You know, it was one of those things, everybody's like, everybody in town has them. How are you the only person that's dealing with this? And I was like, maybe because I'm the only person that actually went into City Hall to try to solve the problem before, you know, I didn't want to have issues. You know, I wanted to get everything taken care of and be done the right way. I was told that I didn't need it because it was freestanding and it's a carport. The walls are not touching the ground, that I didn't need a permit. So I was like, oh, okay. I looked into the state setbacks off the side fences, which was 3 feet. That's why I did it at 3 inches to make sure that I met the state setback, not realizing Newman was at 5 feet. So there's a bunch of things that I didn't know, which was probably stupid on me for not looking more into it. But now looking back on it, I wish I had.
So Mayor, so that would be staff's recommendation on how we,
And I agree with that. So we appreciate you coming up, and we know it's a challenge in some of these things. So again, recommendation is to deny the appeal and direct staff to work with the planning commission and work on updated regulations based on other standards. That's it. We all concur on that, or?
Yeah.
well, can we adopt that resolution?
I need a second on that, right?
Yeah.
That
I'll second it.
first and a second on that. I'll vote electronically. The change to the resolution passes 5-0.
So, Mr. Ortega, if you'll stop in and just talk with Joanna, she'll kind of update you on how we're going to proceed forward.
Thank you, guys. Item number 10, regular business, report on trunk or treat Halloween event in downtown Plaza.
Excuse me. Good evening, Mayor,
Bless you.
council members. It's Halloween again, October 30th. We are planning to do our approval for the Newman Partnership's Trunk or Treat event. It's going to be Friday, the 30th of October, not the 31st. Just a reminder for that. The event will be from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in our downtown plaza on Main Street. In the 1300 block. We will block Fresno and Main to Tulare and Main. The east parking lot will remain available. It won't be available for public parking as we plan to have construction in that area in the near future for the Veterans Circle. And we will be using the west side of that parking area for staging and for accessible trunks that need a stage, whether it be a tent platform or extra space. We do not anticipate having food vendors at this event as we have had in previous years. Unfortunately, it's not conducive to our mapping this year, but we will attempt next year. The partnership is requesting that the council waive the $1,000 cleanup deposit, the traffic and crowd control device cost, and the $25 restroom and electrical use fee. For the restrooms, the only available restrooms will be located in our theater. The theater will also be operating with a Day of the Dead ceremony in there to go along with our downtown trunk or treat event. It will be done by the promotoras, who are the part of the partnership who is presenting this event. We also will partner with Beyond the Bell. That's the district, the school working with us as well. There will be no alcohol at the event and no direct fiscal impact to the city. Staff recommends approval of the event as presented, and I'm available for any questions that y'all may have.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Why was it decided to do it on the 30th instead of the 31st?
The 30th is more conducive to the scheduling for the school.
Oh, because Beyond the Bell is partnering with you?
Correct.
Okay.
So most staff, including the partnership, the resource center, which is a big part of the partnership, the promotoras and the school are all staffing that same day, as well as city employees. So we'll be here from the morning all the way till the event's over.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Move to accept the report on trunk or treat Halloween event at the downtown plaza.
I second.
Electronically.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. All right. Item number 10B, adopt resolution 2026, next number, a resolution approving a budget adjustment and a professional service agreement with Ralph Anderson and Associates for executive recruitment services for the position of city manager and authorizing the city manager to execute said agreement.
Thank you, Mayor. As you all know, my contract expires at the end of this calendar year, and I've decided to go ahead and retire at that point from my public service. So it's important that I think it's important for us as a community to find a replacement and to hire an executive firm that specializes in that type of recruitment to find one. Finding a good city manager to continue the success of the community, I think, is critically important. And when you hire a recruiting firm like this, they have their expertise, they have their relationships that help with that. So we sent out proposals to 3 qualified firms that generally work throughout the state and in other states, but they're located in Sacramento area. So we are recommending that the council select Ralph Anderson and Associates at an all-inclusive cost of $29,000. We did that when we looked at the scope of service, the team qualifications, their relative experience with California city manager recruitments, the strength of their placement guarantee. One of the things that's always important is trying to find someone. Ralph Anderson guarantees that they will find you somebody. If they don't find somebody on their first recruitment, their second recruitment is free. If they do find someone and they stay less than a year, either at council's decision or at the employee's decision to leave, they will replace that person at no cost. So there's some great guarantees there, and looking at their experience, we think they're the appropriate party to go ahead and execute a personal services agreement and start that search. If we start it now, the idea is as my tenure's coming on, the new person will be ready to step in on that. So anyways, we're asking that you approve the resolution approving that budget adjustment for $29,000, but also to allow the city manager to execute a personal services agreement with Ralph Anderson for the recruitment of a city manager replacement.
Bring it back to council.
He can do 2 more years. Look at him.
I know, we should.
I have a question. Is this sorry, I know I'm always having a question today. I was just wondering, is this I guess this is the first time we've used this company?
It is.
It is. And previously, this is how the process has been? to use a recruitment?
That's a great question because I've been here 20 years, and so
I know, I'm like,
and then the one
how'd you get here? Just kidding.
and the 3 managers in the 3 years before that, they didn't. I don't recall what they used and who they used. So, but it's pretty standard now in this particular area. Yeah, because you get relationships. They have contacts, and so the word gets out, and they know who's looking for a nice community, and they can sell our community. I mean, it's a great opportunity here, but it's an important position for the community. So I think it deserves the use of a recruitment firm.
Yeah, I looked at the cities here. I mean, they're pretty big cities that they've helped out. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I'll bring it to council for action.
I move we adopt resolution number 2026, a resolution approving a budget adjustment and a professional services agreement with Ralph Anderson and Associates for the executive recruitment services for the position of city manager and authorizing the city manager to execute said agreement.
I'll second.
We have a first and second. Go and vote electronically. Motion carries 5-0. All right. Items from the city manager and staff. Michael, you're back up.
Thank you, Mayor. Based upon our public comment today, we're happy to do a report for you. I'll work with the police chief. I know we've already kind of been looking at a little bit of this. We don't report out to other agencies outside the state. We comply with all that, but we're happy to do a full presentation to the community at a council level. I just need to talk with the chief and decide whether that's going to be at the next meeting or the first meeting in September. But we'll definitely get this agendized and let our community know we don't have anything to hide. We'll also talk about crimes that have been solved, using the cameras and what our cameras actually entail. I think there's many different varieties. Ours are actually license plate readers. They don't focus in on who's driving the car and a few other things. But I'm going to let the chief talk a little bit more about that when he does his presentation. But we don't have anything to hide. We're happy to do a full presentation and let the community come out and speak their mind on it. And then just Reese, if you don't know, our veteran circle is currently out to bid. So I think we do a walk next week. Thomas will update you a little bit on the process, but we are continuing to have our fundraiser of engraved bricks. So if you have a veteran, if you want to just acknowledge your family, your business, there are many ways that you can participate with the engraved brick process. I think we're sitting around 60 to 70 bricks right now that people have purchased. We'll continue to do that online until August 26th. I think we'll do one last push at the Fall Festival. But it's an opportunity to memorialize your family, memorialize family members, veterans, and any other people that have served. And if you want to, put your business out there, anything to support our veterans and our veteran circuits, that's going to be catty corner from here. As you know, we're going to have a big 40, I think it's either 40 or 45 foot tall American flag. We'll have each individual flagpoles for each branch of the armed services out there. We'll have contemplation benches, sitting benches. There's going to be some landscaping out there, some low lighting, and it's going to be a real beautiful tribute to our veterans. So just reminding people, we did email it out to people with all the business license. So we're trying to get the word out. So I know our staff continues to pop that and populate it on social media. So if you guys have any questions, or if you're watching or anything and you have any questions, feel free to contact us at City Hall, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Michael. Ally?
Good evening, Mayor, council members again. Just a reminder that we have movie night this upcoming Saturday. Movie night will be at Sherman Park. Movie starts at dusk. We will open up that snack bar around 7 p.m. for anybody that's interested in coming out, watching our last movie of the year. And also a reminder to our community that we do start our soccer season this upcoming week. Just be aware that a lot of children will be at 2 localized parks in our community at Barrington and at Sherman. During the weekdays, games will be at Sherman. If we can ask our community to please slow down and just be aware that there will be a lot of children at our parks. With that, I can answer any questions that y'all may have.
Thank you, Ally.
Thank you.
Chief, welcome.
Thank you. Just to the council, the citizens watching online, thank you for the warm welcome. I can't remember the last time, every time I go outside, someone's shaking my hand or excited to have me here. It's a great feeling. Just been busy, a lot of work to do, but definitely looking into all of the transparency agendas that were talked about tonight, as well as some other stuff. And as we move forward and I get grounded, I'm just looking forward to doing some great things. Police department here, got a good staff and a lot of people willing to help and just do good work. So thank you all.
Thank you, Chief. Got nothing of a financial nature to report, which is always good, right? Thomas, all yours.
Good evening. To add on to what Michael was explaining about Veteran Circle, we have our pre-bid meeting tomorrow. So it's active. The bid packet is actively out there on the exchanges. We'll have our pre-bid tomorrow. We do bid opening on August 26th, and we'll bring it for consideration in the first September council meeting for council's review. We're looking forward to hitting the ground running with that project. A 60 workday window with some goals set for Christmas tree lighting. And with that in mind, we will be out at the movie night, fall festival, likely some of the soccer games, having a booth for a couple things. One of them being the brick sale. So if residents have more questions or if they want to see some examples, we'll have that available. They can always come into City Hall or give us a call. And as Michael mentioned, across the board, from honoring those who are veterans to any, if you want to put your business or a family name on there, because all those proceeds from those bricks will go into this project that helps support the building of the Veterans Circle. Additionally, talking to the VFW Post Commander Mel about just the proper etiquette for the flags and looping them into this project too, to make sure that it is what we want to see for our veterans community. In addition to that, we're working through our news project still, and we're in the non-exciting part of grant reporting and crossing our T's, dotting our I's on that. We're still slated for a grand opening probably next spring, because we'll have the grant finishes towards the end of the year. So with that in mind, additionally, out at movie night and soccer, we've been doing some additional outreach for our nature park to kind of renew some of our engagement and outreach and letting the community kind of review what we've got so far for the nature park. And so that's pretty exciting too. So if you see us have our pop-up at recreation events, stop by, ask any questions, and I can answer any questions you guys might have.
Mayor, real quick, Tom, will you just update him on Measure L real quick?
Oh, yes. Measure L, we had our pre-con meeting. We're shooting for early September start on the Measure L project, which is the as you may remember, the stretch of L Street, and we're going to that one's, I believe, 45 working construction days for that project, and we're looking at early September to start that one. And then as we lead up to any start dates or closures or restrictions of travel, we'll be notifying the residents will be residents and businesses that will be affected in that area before shutting or closing or restricting access. And I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
Over Tim?
Nothing to add tonight, thank you.
I just wanted tomorrow's the first day of school, so anybody out there on YouTube and the public, patience, getting your students and to school and picking them up, because everyone's excited for the first day of school. The little ones running around, so yeah, that's it.
Nothing.
Again, Mr. Gill, appreciate your time on the flock cameras. I know I've received a few calls and emails myself in regards to those, so I appreciate your time coming out today and spending it to inform. So one other thing I'd like to add, Mike, is just to see if there's any options on how do we provide more transparency to the community, and whether we use our own homepage to maybe provide our data retention policy, or at least minimal, what is the intent of the use of those cameras, so people can understand they are just simply the license plate readers, and we don't hold our data more than 90 days or whatever it is, right? So that it doesn't need to be much, but just so there's a place for people to see it. Other than, I think the one thing I found was just the basic, hey, it's going to be used, and it's got to be used by October 1st of 2024, and it's this much money, and it's some grant money, but it doesn't give a lot of information about what happened after the fact. So it'd be great if we just had something out there from the city side to let people know, here's what we've done with it. So
Yeah, Chief's already way ahead of that. He's already got the presentation keyed up and ready to go. So we've been working on it for a little while now.
thank you. That's it. Well, thank you guys for all being here and giving your concerns. We appreciate when people come to our meetings and express their concerns in that, and hopefully we can address them in a mannerly time. So thank you, everybody. And with that, I'll ask for adjournment.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.